If I could now introduce Dr. Augustin Lutakwa. Many of you will know Augustin as well as Alex. And Augustin grew up in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the hometown of Goma. He's trained in general surgery. He's now located in Durban in South Africa. And he is our Associate Executive Officer for the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa. So he travels all around the countries, helping to start and to strengthen national movements and to support the regional team. But Augustin is also our Congress Director for this World Congress, working with the organizing teams towards that end. So Augustin, you're going to give us a rundown of where we're at with the Congress, but I just wanted to ask you first as well. When was it that you first went to a World Congress yourself, and how has it impacted on your life?
Well, that is a good question, Peter. Thank you for the opportunity. I think sometimes we think less of those kind of important questions. My first encounter with the World Congress was actually in 2006 in Sydney, in Australia. And to be honest, that was my first time out of Africa. Initially, I was going to go to the Taiwan World Congress in 2002, but I missed that opportunity. So this one, God allowed me to go. And the impact, to be honest, is so huge. I think I wouldn't be here today talking about World Congress if that didn't happen. First, getting there with the visa struggle and all those issues on travel, they were so difficult. And even on transit, my father passed on back home in the DRC. So it was a combination of a lot of things that just went wrong. But God did not allow that to obstruct the outcome of what I had witnessed. Finally landed there. I couldn't leave the airport in time, left the airport, but seeing how people were so amazing, assisting me, catching the trains from one area to another, welcoming me in their home. I was welcomed by Dr. Malcolm, who was a private surgeon in Sydney. And I stayed one night in his house, and then the next day joined the team. That was really, really a blessing to see the whole world, to see the picture, interacting with people. I think this resonates very well with my, let me put it rather this way. In the Congo, they always say when we were kids, that the kids that do not go around or visit or leave their home, they usually believe that it's only their mother that can make pap. Pap is the traditional cassava food that you make. And the kids believe that only my mom can make this pap. And only the other kids, when they visit outside, they see the immensity. And I think the picture of the God that I had was shifted. My faith in Christ was impacted tremendously. And to leave that with you is the picture that I saw when preparing for the cultural nights. People just stepped in, and at no instance of practice, they had a band of multinational culture thing, where Prof. John Wyatt was playing piano, another person from another country was playing. So it was a song that they pictured to me the world, what it will look like in heaven. And that had come as a picture of what we are to each other. Looking at that whole experience, looking at the contribution, the teaching, I've never been the same. And I hope it will be the same with you all after Congress in Arusha. Thanks, Peter. I hope I've answered you. I wish I had more time to tell you all the other details of testimonies.
Thanks very much. And it's great hearing Alex and Augustin's story of how the World Congress impacted them and took them on in their journey of faith and to positions of responsibility and influence and service within ICMDA. And they are just two of literally thousands of people who've been influenced and helped and encouraged by World Congresses, which have led in turn to the setting up of many more national movements around the world and have been a major impetus towards growing the international fellowship that we have.
to my surprise, or to everyone's surprise, is the 17th World Congress, which will take place in Arusha from the 20th to the 25th. And you can see our logo as designed recently, specifically for the Congress. The next is we have visited, or the board just took recently their meeting to Arusha, and that is the venue behind the board members, some of the board members who attended the Arusha Congress and meeting in the venue. So Arusha, for just a short geography, it's just south of Kenya, northern Tanzania. So this is Tanzania, and that's Kenya and Uganda next door, Rwanda that side, and Burundi, and further to the left, that will be the DRC. So that's where Tanzania is located. And Arusha, basically, it was initially designed to be a city of, to host the parliament of the East African region long ago. So it has been established for a while now. It's also about 3 million people living in that city from recent account. Now, the background to this, in 2017, this was in Ethiopia, the ICMDA board awarded the Arusha to host the 17th World Congress, which initially was planned in 2022, but postponed to 2023 due to COVID. Many of you will remember this COVID and what it has been to the rest of the world. And the East Africa region was appointed to host the Congress. Unlike other congresses where the country hosted, this time around it's the Regional Organizing Committee, which I'm part of. And we visited Tanzania in 2018, 2021, and recently in 2022. So we've been there multiple times during the stage of organizing this. And the local committee, organizing committee, is the image doctor, which is the local organizing team, and it's we'll call it CMF, or Christian Medical Fellowship Tanzania. And the venue is identified, and it will be the Arusha International Convention Center, which is the venue. The memorandum was signed already of understanding, so meaning everything is offset. On the left, it's myself and Alex landing in one of the trips, early trips, when we were going to gather more information about the Congress. And this is the Kilimanjaro International Airport. We'll talk about that at some stage. Location, we've mentioned the Arusha International Convention Center. The venue can host up to about 1,300 people, all seating. They have as well, I'm not sure the microphone, if somebody can switch the microphone. There are translations. ICMDA has always been ahead of the time. They have only 4 translations in their language, but we expect to translate 7 languages with numerous rooms for breakout room. The date, as we have mentioned, 20 to 25, and the number of participants, we expected around 9 to 1,000 delegates to come to attend. Just to share with you a few of the pictures. The picture you see on the top left-hand side is the Lake Nyasa Hall. That's where the exhibition will take place. For those who are among you who are planning to do the exhibition, that's the hall which will host you. And inside, this is what it will look like with those booths. And we expect 40 booths that will be installed, just like the picture you're seeing there. This is a real picture of that venue, and this is what it will look like on that day. We expect to have lunch outside, the meals. It will be something similar, and this is just on the same venue. Smaller venues, they will look similar to that, but different. Some sizes, some can host up to 250, some 20, some 15. But of course, the numbers of different venues are here that we have been given. The committee that was set up, we have on the top of the World Congress Steering Committee, which is chaired by Hannes Sternberg, who is on this call as well. The Regional Committee, chaired by Daniel Ojuka from Kenya, who is also on the call. And the Local Organizing Committee is chaired by Lichilia. And then the committee will meet regularly, different committee, at different times. The World Congress Committee will meet every 6 weeks. The region will meet every Monday, and the local meets every Sunday. Then we have as well the IT administrator, David Wayodi. Some of you might have received his emails, and he is on call. He actually opened for us in a word of prayer, and myself. So we have mentioned the World Congress Steering Committee, which is composed with Hannes chairing, Peter as the CEO, Vijay as a board and chair from India, Bimal Shah is a board member, is from India, myself, and Daniel Ojuka, we have mentioned, from Kenya, Elichilia from Tanzania, and Alex Bolek, you have just heard, the sharing is from South Sudan. Just put the local team, the ROC, with Daniel, Alex, Ataro Papa from Uganda, myself, Abi from Ethiopia, as well as Linda L from Tanzania. And the local organizing committee chaired by Lichilia, Faraj, Kay, Lina, Jeremiah, Loisa, Doreen, and Elia Gape, as well as Gabriel. Now, the theme of the Congress is Saving with Love in a Suffering World, as extracted from Matthew 22, 37 to 40, and which will be spread out in day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1, saving with calling, as in Matthew 4, 9. Day 2, saving with the compassion in Matthew 14, 14. And day 3, saving with hope in Matthew 12 and 21. All of these sub-themes being very relevant to who we are as ICMDA, but also as Christians. The student and the junior doctors will proceed. That will run from the 20th to the 22nd. And Mamusha Fenta will be the Bible reader. Is based in Ethiopia. And Saving with Love in a Suffering World will be the theme we'll explore. But other speakers as well will be for plenary, and that is Rick Paul speaking on the bridging the generation gap, and Laurie Walton speaking on conscious objection and duty of care, as well as Florence Murindi from Kenya speaking about transformational mission. Now, there will be a parallel session to the Student Congress, which will run concurrently. That's what it means. So far, we have confirmed, we have the team that have been confirmed, and with people who will chair or facilitate or coordinate those sections. We'll have bioethics with the moderator, Prof. John Wyatt, family medicine with Rebecca Zachariah as a coordinator, Say Line with Lata Matthew, Prime Teaching of Jesus Taught, How Jesus Taught, and moderated by Rob Sadler, and advocacy moderated by Jeff Barrows. So these could go, but so far we have confirmed those in the graduate pre-conference. The main conference, speaker and plenary, the main Bible teacher will be Vodi Bocha, is African-American, but based in Zambia. He's going to be talking about saving with love in a suffering world over his 3 talks. And other plenary speakers include Vinod Shah, who used to be the CEO prior to Peter Saunders taking over. Well, he took over, Peter took over from Vinod Shah. He will be speaking about justice in healthcare distribution. Yelena Sivolka will talk about compassion without burnout, while Mike Chapp will be talking about the future of healthcare mission. Mike Chapp is the CEO of ICMDA US. And John Wyatt, who we have heard me talk about him and the testimony in Australia, He'll be talking about humanity in the age of AI or artificial intelligence. Now, you might have said, well, that's too small for, I mean, 5 or 4 plenaries and 6 in the main session. That's not enough for us to come. Well, there is good news. We have breakout sessions which will run in parallel. So on each day, we have quite a number of them. In the student conference, there will be about 4 of them. And in a main conference, there will be another additional 6. And now we got a team from the assessment tool that ICMDA has developed called Lovers Cross team format. And these teams will go under leadership development, advocacy and bioethics, volunteer and national champion, evangelism and apologetics, resources and publication, corporate and governance, regional partnership, outreach ministry, students ministry and physician group. This is the young professional, support and camaraderie, mentoring and discipleship. Now you can see, I always say for fun that a meal that you share, a share meal will never have enough salt. Meaning people who come to the World Congress, it's very difficult for us to satisfy everybody. And this is why the breakout session is satisfying those extra team or sub-team that people can participate, whatever group, interest group that you are part of, you'll find yourself. And of course, beyond this, there will be some few of the topics that are not part of that Lovers Cross, but they are very few. Which we'll talk about that at some other time. Now, the biggest thing is the budget, scholarship and participant website. The budget, this is not, this is just a registration and the venue and non-venue related. We're not talking about transport. We're not talking about the accommodation locally. And we're not talking about the other extra meals that will not be part of your package. So it's costing us just over $500,000, which was agreed by the board. We praise God because when we suggest this, we're worried that the board might not be happy with that price. And that's inclusive of the 150,000 bursary required to get people to register, especially those in a settings or circumstances like myself. I found myself many years ago to reach, it was going to be impossible for me to reach Australia, but some people have made it possible for me to reach there. So it's probably my turn now to just say, how can another person experience that? Of course, sometimes we ask ourselves, when you look at these big amounts, we ask ourselves, is it worth it? Well, it depends. If you ask me, I would say, really, this is worth every penny. And the investment that ICMDA does in this, I think it's much more than words can express. Of course, we said that scholarship will cover the registration, and in some circumstances, it might be covering extra, many transport and accommodation. But those are very rare circumstances. Of note, the refund for bursary, for those who will be benefiting from that, it will be done strictly in Arusha at a venue. So you have to come there. So there is no money that will be sent to people. And the website is being set and the registration has started since April. And we encourage all of you to visit the website for that matter. Now, coming down to registration costs, we have, as we have mentioned, we have divided that. Basically, the way it was worked up, we divided that total number, and we divided by the number of expected venue people, they pay people to come to the Congress and give us around just around $600. But of course, not everybody has that capacity to pay, and that's why you will see distribution according to the income countries where people are working. Some from high income, and some from middle income, some from lower income, in a way that the people from high income somehow compensate for the low income and the other people in between. And of course, the delegate will be categorized as a junior, as a graduate, junior graduate, and student. At this stage, let me just highlight the students will be those who are currently studying. The junior graduate will be those who are within 5 years of qualification, while the graduates are those above 5 years of postgraduate. And the middle income, why high income and middle and low, we categorize that by the World Bank ranking. And that is, you will see when we go through the website. And the registration costs are actually there, but this just it's worth mentioning that it's a 20% discount, and that discount will expire in the next few days on the 31st of December. So we encourage you to hurry. What about those with children? Well, children will be accommodated. The age of between 2 and 14, they will pay $30 per child. This $30 is for the entire duration, not just one duration, and regardless of where they're coming from. As long as they're children, they will be accommodated. We have a team working with the kids, as you can see, and the program is there where we try and make sure that they not only being entertained, but they learn as well as they participate. So there will be few things that they will learn, some Bible stories, talent shows, videos, praise and worship, but also importantly, in the afternoon, they will have tours in the Maasai Market, Snake Park, and they will go to game and sport, and some of the days they will go to a swimming pool. So speaking of different activities to entertain the kids, the parents are not left out. There will be tour activities before and after the Congress. Now we encourage people to come before. If they want to do some other activity, we'll encourage you to do them before and after the Congress so you can benefit from that. And you will see that this area is very, very touristic. For those who have been there, they will see that there is a lot going on there. It's majority are tourists actually who travel there. Arusha National Park is just around the corner. Kilimanjaro, for those who want to join us, myself included, we want to climb Kilimanjaro. Please pray that my legs, I come out with my both legs. There is a national park, Serengeti, Safari, Tarangire, and Ngorongoro. We have just gone. This is a picture of the Ngorongoro crater. That's brilliant. I will recommend anybody if you have a day to spare after the Congress. Now, there is another one. It's a post-Congress hospital visit, which we encourage you guys as well to participate in. And this is the Kilimanjaro KCMC, Christian Medical Center. You will see in the background there, it's a foot mountain of the Kilimanjaro. So Kilimanjaro is there behind, but this is the hospital. We encourage you, those who would like to come. There are few hospitals. We're still adding more hospitals where you can go and visit and have a look at what is going on in other countries. Few of the hospitals, this is KCMC is about 2 hours trip from Arusha, while Arusha Lutheran Medical Center is based in Arusha itself, so you don't need to go anywhere. Haydn Hospital, it's 300 kilometers north. We have MAF, Mission Aviation Service, that have offered us to support those who would like to go further north on a trip. Of course, you pay small amounts to contribute to get there, and Kiratu Hospital. I'm not gonna take time to tell you all the distances about these sites to visit and all of those places. The other thing that one of the pillars of ICMDA is recruiting of new national organization. And this will be as well another opportunity to welcome some of the countries that will join the ICMDA family. And this is a certificate just to show you Rwanda will be one of them that will be joined and that will be welcome. To finish off, there are useful links that we want you to visit. The website, as we have mentioned, registration is up and running. Accommodation, we have said, is not part of your registration. Please make sure that you apply for, you register and book your accommodation. Of course, we have the Facebook link and the visa requirement. Visit our website to find more and the flight reservation. So welcome to the rooftop of Africa 2023. Hope you will enjoy this time there, your time with us. And while enjoying the time, you'll also come blessed, as we always been one when we visit there. My last but not least, I will encourage you to visit the frequently asked questions on the website before you send us an email, because you might find an answer there. So some of the questions that we have received so far, we have addressed some of them there, and we encourage you to have a look. I think from my side, I'm finished. Maybe Peter, if you want at this stage, do you want me to go through a registration on a website, or do you want a breather?
Augustine, I wonder if you could just show people, give them a very brief outline of the website and how it works, and how to find out about the registration process. Thank you, and then we'll go to questions.
Excellent. So this is the website. This is the landing part where you land on our website, and we briefly gonna go through it just to let you know what is happening. Basically, the first landing page, we're just gonna tell you all about the conference, briefly, and if you can go there and register quickly and all of that. But it's basically the general thing. As I was saying, we need to visit. I will encourage you to visit the frequent asked questions, because this will answer some of the questions that have been asked. How do I know which ticket to write? Accommodation is included. Can my spouse attend the conference even if she is not a medic? Is there a child program? Will there be language translation? Is there a refund policy? Can I apply for bursary? I think this is one of the things that I will encourage you to see under frequently asked questions. Of course, we have mentioned about the program. Please keep visiting. We have a lineup program on the Congress, which main students, student conference, children program, pre-conference. And the pre-conference, as we have highlighted, has so far bioethics, Christian healthcare, prime, and the list will continue. We'll update that. We have mentioned that. That's why I'm not going back to that, because we have discussed that. Who is who? You can see the Congress speakers, and you can see like here. Let me just click there to just have a look at the main speakers, and you will see them there. And the breakout speakers, their photos and what they will be talking about will come up and will keep populating. So far, there will be around 100 people who are talking about the speakers in the breakout sessions. Now, planning of visits, as we have mentioned, Arusha, Tanzania. We want you to visit often this site, this part, because then it's easier for you to plan and to book your accommodation. So this is the site that will give you just in Arusha. If you want to book like your safari, you book your safari. Things to remember, the documentation, we want you to remember to apply for your passports right by this time. For some countries, it takes long. Please have one, which is required to enter Tanzania. Tanzania has an electronic visa, which is they have an online system. Make sure that you check that your country is among the countries that can apply for the electronic, but most of the countries around the world can. And they will give you an electronic visa. You don't have to go to the embassy. Vaccination, make sure that these vaccinations are up to date and you have them. The COVID regulation, please check regulation. This is the government website where the regulation are up to date and they keep them up to date. The airport, sorry, I need to change it. We want you to land at the JRO, Kilimanjaro International Airport. And this is where we are encouraging you to land. The other airports are quite far. And that is the other airport that we have mentioned. Besides that, we want you to, when you are planning your visit, to remember your accommodation. Now, accommodation so far, we have arranged through a third party, Acts Africa, is a Christian logistic organization that will help us to facilitate. On this site, this is, please to remember, this is not part of your registration. But when you book, you can see first the hotels. We'll keep adding these as we have a contract or we have a memorandum of understanding. We'll keep adding the lodges here, and they vary anywhere between $50 to $200. But we will populate the other ones with budget accommodation as they become available. Of course, we'll put a map to show you the distances. If you want to book your flights, I will encourage you to go there and then put your destination as Kilimanjaro Airport and trace and track the distances and all of that stuff. The safari tour, again, once again, I want just to show you how it works. You can go there and you book there. Once you book, it will show you where you're going, what are you trying to book. The internet is taking a few seconds. Yes, there we are, because it's taking me to the form. You're putting your details there. You put the transfer to the airport. If you click, it will show you if you want to share transport, if you want one person in a private, or if you have a group of 7 to 20 people, this is what it's going to cost you. Sorry, Stefan, can you close your microphone, please? We encourage you, even if you are not a lot of people booking, even if you are individual, the system will book you, will pay you up with other people. So you don't have to find those people in order for you to book, to make the booking. As long as you identify which section do you want to share or go alone, you can pick it up, you will find somebody, and the options are there. Now, that was the transfer from the airport. The hotel packages, when you click on it, it will show you the hotels that are available and the distances. And if you book, you put the date and you pick the hotel that you want, it will keep showing you all the rooms that are left at every single day. And then you can book that. Now, after that, I wanted to show you the daily transport, which you might require depending on the venue that you put for accommodation. It will cost you about $4 a one-way trip to the venue. But the venue, the AICC, is in the city center. We'll update the map where to locate. So when you are booking, it will be in reference to the venue. You will know where you are and how far do you need to come. And you can book it in that fashion. And of course, if you want to book the leisure, as we have mentioned, you can do it as well here. And you select the dates and where do you want to go. For long distances, so far we only have the transportation from Kenya and Nairobi to Arusha, which is about 4 hours trip, but it's you can book it via here. I think that's all that I meant to mention. Beside that, well, I need now to consider myself as to be registered. In a few minutes, I'll try and register, so just to show you how it works. So basically, when you come to registration, this works like a shop. You go on the ticket, you can see the tickets, the pricing, and all that is required. So I'm gonna say to myself, initially, it will show you if you're at pricing table. This is a pricing table. As a student, you will see the prices up to 31st of December. These are the prices. Later on, they will change to the other side. Now, if you are in a category of students, high, middle, and low, as we have discussed that before, you'll pay accordingly those prices. If you are junior, these are the prices that will apply. If you are senior, that will apply. Now, what I wanted to share with you, how the pricing worked out, is the registration fee is based on a designation. As we have said, you either a junior doctor, a senior doctor. Stefan, can you please close your microphone?
Yes.
We are recording this, so if people want to hear the quality of the sound, it will be helpful if you switch off the microphone. Students, as those that are currently studying, so we have to go according to these particulars. And we have another accompanying section, delegates. These are the spouses who are not medics, but they are spouses of delegates. And the prices is fixed. High income will pay appropriate 400, middle income 350, as well as a low income to pay 300. The children we have mentioned 2 to 14 years, they will pay $30. And of course, we have mentioned about the World Bank category list. If you are unsure where your country is, you go on this list to identify where your country is. And this list will populate your country and it will tell you where are you based. I'm insisting on this because if you put wrongly your banking category, if you put wrongly your bank category, when we were registering in Arusha, we'll ask you to pay the balance. Let's say you are from UK and you put that you are in a low country. When you are registering, we identify you are from UK, we will charge you the difference. As we had said, you can pick up you can pick up your country. I'll go with myself. I live, though I'm from Democratic Republic of Congo, but I live in South Africa. So I'll consider myself ranking on the as place where I work. And that will be South Africa. I can check where South Africa is. South Africa is here and it's middle income. Once I know that South Africa is a middle income, then it's easier for me. I know that when it will come to work out the price, I am a senior because it's been more than 5 years since I graduated. So I'm a senior there and I'm part of the middle income. So I'll be a senior price and I'll pay middle income, meaning my price will be there, 750 and 40. Now, after I know what's the combination, I can click now and choose the conference I'm attending to. If I'm attending the students conference and the main conference like now, or I'm attending just the main congress and the pre-conference stream, or main congress only, the prices will be different. Now I'm putting for just the sake of demonstration, I'm putting as I'm attending the student conference. This is the table that will come. And I have said in the super early birds, these are the prices. They will change as we go. And I have said I'm a senior middle. So I'm senior middle. You will remember that's the price. And I will say I'm 1. And automatically the box will be there. And I will say I'm the same as attendee. And I'll go as I'll choose language. If I choose none, meaning it will be English. If I choose any other language, it will go to the language of preference. And I can now go on the services that if I have an accompanying person, I can add the person. If there is a child, I can add the child. And as I'm adding, you will see on the top here, it will be populating the amount that is outstanding. If I'm just alone and I don't have any additional services, I'll click register and it will allow me to go to the registration page where I'll put my details. I'll put the country, the city, the countries where I'm working, not where I was born. And it will give me all the reference, the amount that is due. Now, this is where we want you to pay attention. You can choose to pay via credit card, which you put the credit card details, you put the expiry date, and you put the code that is on the card. If you have clicked here and you have put all the details, you just click, I have agreed with term and condition, and you place an order. Now, I have seen some mistakes. People put the credit card details and then they say transfer to the web to pay transfer. Those credit card details will automatically go off and we expect you to transfer the money there. So we're not gonna process your card on your behalf. The credit regulation requires that you process it yourself, not us. So those details, they are not saved. We not save them for future usage. We automatically deduct the amount and it's sent to us and they disappear. So we're not gonna refer to that. So if you prefer to pay via direct transfer, here's the banking details. Or if you prefer to pay via your national fellowship, you need to indicate that you'll pay, but we will require a proof of payment that you'll send to us, that you have paid and what's the amount. If you pay, for those who are in a region, they know the M-Pesa, they can pay via that, but it's not active yet. And that's why it says detail to follow. Or alternatively, after you have registered, once it's required to pay, it will say apply for bursary. You can click there, you say apply for bursary. As soon as you say apply for bursary, it's not gonna require anything else, you place an order. Then it will go to the form and you start applying for bursary. Please do both at the same time so they can reach us as soon as they can. I think that is all. And speaking of bursary, maybe we need to talk about the bursary at this stage. We have had a lot of questions with regard to bursary. You have to apply for bursary even now. You don't have to wait for the outcome. Apply as well for the Congress, apply for both. And what the committee has decided is that they will process it as they come. Though the closing date is on the 28th of February, but the Congress committee will work on the bursary and award them even before that. So you will get an answer, which can be, yes, you have been granted the bursary, or yes, no, you haven't been, or you are on a waiting list. As the funding becomes available, we'll contact you. Again, I will emphasize the money is not gonna come to you. It's gonna stay with the ICMDA and you will find it in Arusha when you get there. Once you have paid, once you have said in your application for bursary, maybe I should just go there. When you're applying for bursary, this is the form that you will find. It's a form that will be similar to this, where you put all your necessary information. The qualifications will ask for your basic qualification, will ask you to motivate why do you feel you deserve or you want ICMDA to fund you. And of course, the amount that you will contribute, how much will you be able to contribute towards that? You will say, for example, my registration, as you saw, it was 740. I could say, I cannot afford that, but I can only afford 500, or I can afford 300. I need a balance from ICMDA. The ICMDA will reply. If they say yes, we are able to support you, Augustin, they will give me a letter and say that, please, you are due to pay that amount, the outstanding, and ICMDA will pay you the balance. And of course, you will have written in words, why do you need? And of course, the reference letters, you will add who is your referee. And that's it. So in my designation, I think the system says I'm the CEO of ICMDA. I'm not sure why it went to that. Anyway, so this is basically what we wanted you to understand. Maybe I could just show you the refund policy because that has come to our attention often. The refund policy is if you have paid your registration and for somehow you are unable to come to the Congress, if you tell us or you notify us before the 30th of May, we will only deduct 10% of the money that you have paid. This is just because the money that you have paid, there is a lot of charges, the bank transfer and a lot of bank charges and a small admin fee. So it's not gonna be 100%, but we're gonna deduct only 10% out of that money. Now, if it's after the 30th of May, in 2023, you coming now and request, it's still within 21 days, 35% will be non-refundable. And within 14 days, this is 2 weeks, we will retain 60%. Within 7 days, we'll retain 100% because that's what the venue would have required. Now you might ask, why do you retain my money if 60% of all of that? This is because we are mirroring the contract we have with the venue. So if we have paid the venue, they have prepared already all of this. And should we cancel the conference, this is backed up by what we have agreed with them. And that at 7 days, at 14 days, at 21 days, this is what will happen. And I hope I've answered that question. And of course, you can, when you claim there is a form, an appropriate form, we will require you to read this before you agree on everything. I think you've heard a lot of my voice. It's time that we hear you as well. Thanks, Peter, and sorry it took long, but I thought it was important that we emphasize, especially on the registration. I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much, Augustine. Never ask a surgeon how long it will take, especially if you're an anesthetist. But thanks, that was very comprehensive.